The Galactic Union had sent many inspectors to many planets, but none of them ever wanted the job of visiting Earth. Humans were known across the stars for being loud, unpredictable, and strangely emotional. Some called them dangerous, others called them chaotic, but one alien commander believed those rumors were exaggerated. His name was Commander Tavrix, a respected officer from the Zelith Empire. He was calm, disciplined, and believed every species behaved logically if studied properly. Tavrix had evaluated 67 planets in his career, including war worlds, pirate colonies, and old battlefields. Nothing ever surprised him. Until now. The moment his shuttle landed on Earth's military training base, Tavrix felt something he had never felt before, confusion mixed with caution. The base looked normal enough from the outside, rows of barracks, armored vehicles parked neatly, and flags waving in the cold wind. But the air felt different. It vibrated with a strange energy. Tavrix checked his translator twice to make sure it was working. The sound he heard next made his heart jump. Move, faster, you call that running. My grandma can run better than you. The loud voice shook the ground. It echoed like thunder. Tavrix scanned the area expecting some giant creature. Instead, he saw a human drill sergeant, average height, average build, but with a voice powerful enough to make an alien dread his next orders. Human soldiers ran in mud, slipping, falling, shouting, and laughing at the same time. Some pushed each other. Some challenged each other. A few even joked while performing impossible exercises. Tavrix blinked twice. Humans were training chaotically. He pulled out his datapad and began recording. Inspection log day 1, he said softly. Initial observation. Humans display unusual behavior. Their training lacks order. They appear aggressive yet playful. Their emotional state is unstable. His second-in-command, a nervous alien named Kurlax, whispered through the comms, "Commander, should we retreat?" Tavrix ignored him. He stepped closer to the training field. The mud was thick, the air smelled like sweat, and the humans looked like they were enjoying themselves far too much. A young soldier noticed Tavrix and smiled. "Hey, welcome to Earth, buddy. Don't worry, we won't shoot unless you shoot first." Tavrix froze. Why was the human smiling? Why was the human joking during a war drill? Why did none of them fear their own sergeant? He had seen soldiers on many planets. Most were quiet, tense, focused. But humans, they were loud, fast, aggressive, and somehow still laughing during combat practice. "This does not make sense," Tavrix muttered. He moved toward another area where soldiers practiced shooting. He expected to see calm discipline. Instead, the humans competed like excited children. "I bet you a burger I hit the target before you." "You're on, loser buys lunch." Laser rounds hit targets with deadly precision. Even while laughing, the humans displayed unbelievable accuracy. Their bodies moved smoothly, like they were built for battle. Tavrix zoomed in his datapad. Observation. Humans combine humor and violence in an unpredictable way. They do not respond to stress normally. They appear entertained. A sudden whistle pierced the air. Every human sprinted toward a new drill. They carried heavy gear on their shoulders while shouting battle chants. Some looked tired, but none stopped. Tavrix could not believe it. He checked the datapad for errors. None. "Commander," Kurlax whispered again, "their behavior is dangerous. They behave like warriors who enjoy pain." Tavrix didn't disagree. He walked deeper into the base. An explosion sounded nearby, a training grenade. Dirt flew everywhere. Humans laughed again. A female soldier shouted, "Nice throw, Jackson. You almost blew your own boots off." Tavrix covered his face from the dust and stared in disbelief. Why are they laughing at explosions? What kind of species jokes while simulating war? He noted. Humans express joy during life-threatening exercises. illogical but effective for morale. Suddenly, the drill sergeant stopped in front of Tavrix. The man's face was serious. His voice boomed like artillery. "You must be the alien inspector, right?" Tavrix nodded slowly. "Good," the sergeant barked. "Then watch carefully. These soldiers, they're not just trained to survive a battle, they're trained to win no matter what." Tavrix swallowed. "Is this method standard?" "Standard," the sergeant laughed harshly. "This is the easy stuff. We haven't even started their real training." Tavrix felt his stomach twist. His species trained with meditation, careful planning, and structured drills. But humans? Humans trained like wild beasts, learning to run faster, fight harder, and outlast anything. Tavrix's datapad vibrated. A message from Kurlax appeared. "Commander, request update. Are humans as primitive as expected?" Tavrix looked at the soldiers again. Mud-covered, exhausted, loud, and terrifyingly motivated. "Primitive? No. Something much worse." Tavrix whispered to himself, "These humans are born for war." As he ended the recording, something caught his eye. One soldier had fallen during a sprint and injured his leg. Instead of panicking, the others helped him up, made jokes, and encouraged him to continue. Their teamwork was natural, their loyalty was unbreakable, their spirit was fierce. Tavrix stood still, feeling something he had not felt in decades, a sense of danger. Not from humans attacking him, but from the truth he was beginning to understand. If humans train like this every day, then any species that fought them would never stand a chance. And that realization was only the beginning. Commander Tavrix believed he had seen everything on the battlefield: plasma storms, collapsing moons, and soldiers made of living metal. But nothing prepared him for what happened the morning after he arrived on Earth. He woke early and stepped out of the small observation tent the humans had given him. Cold air brushed against his skin. Human birds were singing. For a moment, the base looked peaceful. Then the chaos began. A deafening horn blared across the camp. Human soldiers burst out of their tents like wild animals released from cages. Some were half awake. Some were already running. Others carried equipment while yelling to their friends. Tavrix almost dropped his datapad. "Why are they sprinting at dawn?" he whispered. Kurlax, still watching through the ship's camera, replied nervously. "Commander, is this a panic evacuation?" "No," Tavrix said slowly. "They are excited." Soldiers laughed as they got into formation. Some slapped each other on the back. Others joked about how cold the morning was. A drill sergeant appeared again, louder than before. "Good morning, maggots. I hope you slept like BABIES, because today you suffer." The soldiers cheered. Tavrix recorded everything with shaking hands. Observation: humans respond to threats with enthusiasm. He moved toward the training field. Today's drill involved something humans called the obstacle course. It stretched far into the distance, full of mud pits, walls, rope climbs, barbed wires, and swinging logs. Tavrix had seen obstacle courses before on other planets. They were simple endurance tests. But this looked like a survival race in hell. Before Tavrix could comment, a whistle shrieked, and the humans ran like predators chasing prey. They dove into mud, rolled under wires, climbed walls, and jumped over trenches. They shouted, cursed, and laughed through every obstacle. One soldier yelled, "Come on, DANNY, move your alien-sized butt." Another shouted, "If you fall, I'm taking your lunch." Tavrix almost stepped back in fear. Humans competed aggressively but supported each other fiercely. If one fell, two more pulled him up. If one slowed down, others shouted at him to keep going. Their energy was terrifying. "These creatures," Tavrix murmured, "they fight their own limitations and they enjoy beating them." He kept recording. The next drill was hand-to-hand combat. Pairs of humans were placed in a circle. They practiced strikes, dodges, blocks, and throws. They looked wild, unpredictable, and dangerously skilled. Tavrix analyzed their movements. Speed high, strength extreme, strategy improvised but effective. Then he noticed something unusual. Humans talked while fighting. "Nice punch. You almost had me. Try again." Aliens never praised each other in combat. On most planets, combat meant silence and focus. But humans, they treated it like a sport, a challenge, an art. Tavrix's datapad buzzed with warnings from his own AI. Unpredictable PATTRNS, DETCTED. Biological force output, above EXPCTATONS. Emotional state, excited. The AI asked Tavrix if humans were experiencing a festival rather than military training. He ignored the question. Just when he thought he had seen the worst, the drill sergeant blew the whistle again. "Form up, time for live fire training." Tavrix's head spun. Live fire already, they just woke up. He followed the soldiers to the firing range. The ground here was scarred from past training, a mix of burnt earth and scattered shells. Targets lined the field, each designed to simulate hostile units. The humans took their positions. Weapons were checked, magazines loaded, and safety measures announced in loud, fast commands. Then it began. Explosions echoed, bullets cut through the air, smoke filled the field. But through the chaos, Tavrix noticed something terrifying. Humans were unbelievably accurate. Even while shouting. Even while laughing. Even while competing. One soldier yelled, "Eat dust, Roberts. I hit 5 before you blinked." Another replied, "You wish, look again." Tavrix zoomed his lens. The targets were shredded with precise impacts. Humans fired from different positions, standing, kneeling, laying down, even running. The AI whispered to Tavrix, "Human accuracy exceeds Union combat standards. Reaction time, extremely high. Adrenaline control, impressive." Tavrix felt sweat forming on his neck ridges. "This is not training," he whispered. "This is a demonstration." Suddenly, the drill sergeant barked. "Time for team run." Without warning, each squad carried their heaviest soldier across the field. They lifted him like a sack of rocks and ran through smoke and obstacles. No protests, no hesitation. Tavrix stared. "Why are they carrying him?" A soldier passing by answered him while running. "Because one day we might have to carry each other through real fire. We don't leave teammates behind." That sentence froze Tavrix more than any explosion. Loyalty under pressure. Strength through laughter. Chaos with discipline. Humor and danger. Humans were contradictions wrapped in muscle and willpower. He recorded. Observation: humans train with extreme intensity. Their endurance is unmatched. Their teamwork is unbreakable. Their emotional stability under danger is terrifying. Then came the final shock of the day. A group of rookie soldiers failed an obstacle. Tavrix expected punishment or anger. Instead, the sergeant smiled, an evil, dangerous smile. "You messed up good. That means you get stronger." The humans nodded with determination. Tavrix whispered to himself in disbelief. They learn from failure. They appreciate difficulty. He finally understood what the galaxy feared. Humans didn't avoid hardship. They grew stronger because of it. As the sun dipped behind the trees, soldiers kept training without slowing down. Tavrix watched, unable to look away. He typed his final note of the day. "If this is only basic training, then any species planning to fight humans should reconsider, immediately." He closed the datapad. The real fear had begun. Commander Tavrix believed he understood human training, loud, chaotic, unpredictable. But that was only the beginning. The real shock came when he inspected their weapons. It happened early the next morning. Tavrix was reviewing his notes when a human officer approached him with a friendly smile. "Commander, today you get to see our toys." Tavrix blinked. "Toys, do you mean weapons?" The officer laughed. "Same thing on Earth." Tavrix wrote a quick note. "Humans refer to deadly weapons as toys. Concerning." He followed the officer to a large building that smelled of metal, oil, and old battles. Inside, racks lined the walls, filled with different weapons, some small, some large, some old, some new. The room felt like a museum, workshop, and war zone all at once. A soldier grabbed a long rifle. "This here is the M27. We use it for accuracy, stability, and making the enemy regret their choices." Tavrix stared at the weapon. It had no energy cells, no plasma core, no protective force field. Just metal, old-fashioned, simple metal. "How does it function?" he asked. The human smiled proudly. "Explosions." Tavrix froze. Explosions inside the gun. "Yep." The alien almost fainted. Humans used controlled miniature explosion to fire bullets at high speed. Tavrix couldn't understand how such a primitive idea worked so efficiently. He lifted the rifle with trembling hands. It was heavier than alien weapons, solid, unforgiving, designed for strength, not elegance. "How do you handle the recoil?" he asked. The soldier shrugged. "Build strong arms, or just deal with the bruises." Tavrix added more notes, faster this time. "Human weapons cause physical pain to the user. Humans accept this. Human weapons are built for damage, not safety." The next soldier showed him something even stranger, an RPG launcher. "This beauty sends a rocket into the enemy. Boom, end of story." Tavrix's eye ridges lifted. "It is so unbalanced, so large, so unstable." "That's the point," the soldier replied proudly. "Chaos hurts more." Tavrix swallowed hard. Chaos again. Always chaos. Humans didn't simply fight. They embraced destruction. He moved toward another table filled with smaller objects, grenades. They came in different sizes and shapes, each labeled with handwritten names like "Boom Buddy," "Happy Birthday Surprise," "Goodbye Enemy," "Double Trouble." Tavrix stared. Humans named their explosives like pets. A female soldier walked over, holding one proudly. "This one explodes twice. We thought it would be funny." "Funny?" Tavrix repeated, horrified. "Yes, the first boom scares them. The second boom finishes them. Perfect balance." Tavrix scribbled a frantic note. Humans consider dual explosions humorous. They laugh during weapon testing. He then noticed boxes labeled training ammo. He scanned one and discovered the rounds were less deadly but still painful. Humans trained with weapons that could injure them on purpose. "Why not use safe simulations?" Tavrix asked. The female soldier shrugged. "We learn better when it hurts." A chill ran through Tavrix's spine. He turned toward another section of the room where engineers worked on a new prototype. Sparks flew. Metal parts clanged. The smell of burnt fuel filled the air. "What is this?" he asked. An engineer looked up, smiling too widely. "This is the XM99. Fires faster, hits harder, makes a bigger bang." "Is it safe?" "Not yet," the engineer laughed, "but we'll handle it." Humans tested unstable weapons without fear. Tavrix recorded. Humans are comfortable experimenting with dangerous technology. Their boundaries of safety are extremely low. Suddenly, the building shook from a loud explosion outside. Tavrix panicked. What was that? A soldier near him casually said. "Probably Jenkins testing something he shouldn't." Tavrix's eyes widened. "Should we evacuate?" The soldier shrugged. He'll be fine, probably. Tavrix nearly dropped his datapad. Humans accepted accidents as normal. When he walked outside, he saw a crater in the ground and a soldier coughing out smoke but laughing as his squad teased him. Nice one, Jenkins. You almost made your own grave. Try again, but don't blow up the base. Tavrix felt like he had stepped into a nightmare, and humans were enjoying it. He kept observing. Humans loved unpredictability. They made weapons that could misfire, explode, or kick hard enough to break bones, and still used them proudly. Worse, they trained every soldier to handle them under stress, in noise, in chaos. That was when Tavrix realized the truth. Human weapons were not just tools. They were extensions of human nature, violent, creative, chaotic, efficient, and stubborn. As Tavrix walked back toward the main camp, he heard a group of soldiers arguing about which weapon made the coolest noise. Another group debated the best way to scare enemies. Someone else bragged about surviving a misfire. Tavrix whispered to himself, "These soldiers are not normal. They are dangerous artists of war." Later that day, Tavrix sat alone reviewing his footage. The more he watched, the more the truth sank in. Human weapons weren't advanced. They weren't elegant. They weren't even logical by alien standards. But they worked. And humans used them with a passion and creativity that no other species could match. He ended his report with a single chilling line. The galaxy fears the wrong thing. It is not human technology that is deadly. It is humans themselves. Commander Tavrix believed he had seen enough. Human training was chaos. Human weapons were danger disguised as fun. But he still did not understand what truly powered these strange creatures. So, Human Command arranged one final demonstration, a test not of body or weapon, but of spirit. They called it the Warrior Spirit Challenge. Tavrix walked into a huge outdoor arena surrounded by shouting human soldiers. The ground was dirt, packed and scarred from years of drills. The air smelled like sweat, dust, and something sharp, excitement. A tall human sergeant stepped forward. "Commander Tavrix, today you'll see what truly makes humans fearsome." Tavrix raised a brow ridge. "I assumed it was the weapons." The sergeant laughed. "No, it's what's inside us." He thumped his chest. "Heart." Tavrix was confused. Most alien species used calm meditation or safe simulations to build courage. Humans, apparently, had a different system, one that involved loud music, yelling, and a strange ritual called hyping each other up. In the center of the arena stood a long obstacle course. There were burning walls, mud pits, sharp wires, heavy logs, and moving targets. Tavrix blinked in disbelief. "This is dangerous." "Of course," a soldier said. "Challenge builds spirit." Tavrix wrote, "Humans grow stronger through discomfort. They believe pain improves character." As he recorded, a loud horn sounded. The first team sprinted forward. Immediately, Tavrix saw something shocking. The soldiers were smiling, laughing, shouting challenges at each other. A soldier dove under barbed wire, scraping his arm. Another carried a teammate on his back while sprinting through mud. A third nearly fell from a tall wall but caught himself and laughed. Tavrix stared. Other species avoided pain and risk. Humans ran toward them. The sergeant shouted proudly, "They don't quit, not even when it hurts." Tavrix nodded slowly. He could see that now. Humans encouraged each other with strange phrases. "Push harder." "You've got this." "Don't be soft." "Move like you stole something." Tavrix wrote, "Human motivation is aggressive. They challenge each other to perform, not relax." Then he saw something that nearly stopped his heart. A soldier twisted his ankle during the run. Tavrix expected him to leave the course, But instead, two teammates grabbed his arms and pulled him forward. The injured man shouted, "Go, don't slow down because of me." And the others yelled back, "Shut up, we finish together." Tavrix whispered to himself, "Injury does not stop them. Pride does not stop them. They value unity more than safety." Another horn sounded. Next was the psychological test. A group of humans stood in a circle around a metal frame. From it hung bags filled with sand. Soldiers had to push through swinging weights while loud, random noises played from speakers, gunshots, explosions, animal roars, storm winds. Most species would panic under such pressure. Humans, they moved like they were dancing in chaos. Tavrix felt his throat tighten. Humans didn't avoid fear. They learned to walk inside it. The sergeant explained, "We teach them how to stay calm when everything is loud and scary. Real battles don't give peace and quiet." Tavrix shivered. A new obstacle opened. A tall wooden post stood in the center of the arena with a heavy rope tied around it. Soldiers took turns climbing it. One soldier lost his grip and fell several feet onto the dirt. Tavrix gasped. But the man stood up, shook his hands, smiled, and tried again. Tavrix wrote, "Humans do not fear failure. They repeat until success." Then came the part that shocked him the most. A challenge called the Warrior's Roar. Soldiers lined up and screamed, not in fear but in raw energy. Some let out deep shouts. Others yelled like wild animals. Some bellowed battle cries from Earth's old tribal cultures. It was chaotic. It was loud. It was primal. Tavrix felt the ground vibrate. The sergeant leaned close. "This is how humans awaken their warrior spirit." Tavrix nodded slowly. He finally understood something important. Humans were emotional fighters. They used passion, not suppression, to fuel strength. The next event pushed things even further. The soldiers split into two teams for mock combat. They charged each other with padded weapons, tackling, grappling, rolling on the ground, yelling and laughing. It looked less like training and more like war mixed with sports. One soldier shouted, "Hit me harder, I can take it." Tavrix dropped his stylus. He muttered, "How are they this durable?" The sergeant grinned. "You haven't seen anything yet." He pointed to the final challenge. It was a long stretch of open ground where soldiers had to sprint, while instructors shouted confusing commands. Left, down, stop, go, roll, stand, duck. Tavrix realized the purpose. Humans were being trained to think clearly even when overwhelmed. And they were good at it. The sun was lowering when the last soldier finished the course. Sweat dripped from everyone's faces, but they were smiling, cheering, clapping each other's backs. Tavrix walked toward the sergeant. "I now understand," Tavrix said in a low voice. "Weapons do not make humans strong. Training does not make humans strong." The sergeant nodded. "That's right. It is their spirit," Tavrix continued. "They face pain, they face danger, they face fear, and they do not break." The sergeant grinned. "That's why the galaxy fears us." Tavrix wrote one final line in his report. "Humans are not fearless, but fear does not control them. That is what makes them unstoppable." Commander Tavrix returned to his temporary quarters with shaking hands. His mind was full of noise, human shouting, running, laughing, falling, rising. He had witnessed hundreds of species trained for war, but none of them acted like this. Humans, they didn't fear pain. They mocked it. They used it as motivation. Tavrix sat at his desk, trying to write his report. His stylus hovered over the datapad, but his thoughts were tangled. How do I explain this to the High Council? He whispered to himself. His leaders expected him to come home with a simple report. Humans are primitive and weak. Invasion recommended. Instead, his report was turning into a warning, a serious one. He sighed and pressed the record button. Day 5, Human Warrior Analysis, Tavrik spoke. I have now observed their combat spirit, and I am concerned. He paused. I believe humans may be the most unpredictable fighters in the galaxy. Before he could continue, there was a knock on his door. Commander Tavrix, you free, a human voice called. It was Captain Harris, the loud, cheerful, headache-causing officer who seemed to enjoy surprising Tavrix at every chance. Tavrix quickly closed his report. Yes, enter. Harris stepped inside carrying a tray of strange steaming cups. Thought you might need this, Harris said. Coffee, human fuel. Tavrix blinked. It smelled sharp, bitter, too strong. Is it dangerous? Harris laughed. To you, probably, but you'll be fine. Tavrix took a cautious sip. Instant regret. The drink burned his tongue, throat, and possibly his soul. Why do humans drink this? Tavrix coughed violently. Harris grinned. Makes us feel alive. You'll get used to it. Tavrix's eye twitched. Humans voluntarily consumed pain in liquid form. Why? Why were they like this? Harris sat down across from him. So, I heard you watched the Warrior Spirit Challenge today. Impressive, right? Tavrix took a deep breath. Yes, but also alarming. Alarming, Harris chuckled. That was the easy version. Tavrix nearly dropped his cup. The easy version. Oh yeah, Harris nodded proudly. We toned it down so you wouldn't pass out. Tavrix stared in silent horror. Humans were insane. Harris leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Be honest, what confuses you the most? Tavrix rubbed his temples. Everything. Your people run into danger, you take injuries lightly. You push each other harder even when exhausted. You laugh while fighting. You yell at the sky. You fight the ground. You fight ropes. You fight each other for entertainment. Harris smirked. Yeah, sounds about right. How can you survive like this? Tavrix asked, voice rising. Harris shrugged. We adapt, we're stubborn, we're emotional, but we don't quit. Tavrix set his coffee aside, afraid it might explode. He stood and paced the room. In my world, soldiers meditate before battle. They train gently. They rest often. They avoid injury and fear. Harris raised an eyebrow. Sounds peaceful. It is, Tavrix said. But peaceful doesn't win wars, Harris replied. Tavrix froze. Those words hit him harder than the coffee. Peaceful doesn't win wars. Tavrix knew it was true. He'd seen dozens of planets fall because they trained for comfort, not chaos. Humans trained inside chaos. They grew stronger through it. Harris clapped him on the shoulder, almost knocking him over. Come on, Commander, let me show you something. Tavrix followed him outside. The sun was setting over the training field. Soldiers were still awake, talking, laughing, sharpening tools, cleaning weapons, sharing food. No fear, no exhaustion, only energy. Harris pointed at them. You saw the physical side today, but the real strength is this. Tavrix watched. He didn't understand. What do you mean? He asked. Humans don't fight alone, Harris said softly. We fight for each other, for our team, for our home, for people who stand beside us. Tavrix frowned. Other species also value teamwork. Not like this, Harris said. Not with this level of loyalty. He pointed to a group of soldiers lifting a heavy crate together. If one of us falls, 10 more pick him up. If one of us gets scared, the others yell until he believes again. If one of us is weak, we build him up. Humans aren't strong because we're perfect. He smiled. We're strong because we never abandon each other. Tavrix wrote that down instantly. Humans are powered by unity. They multiply their strength through connection. Harris continued, "This is why we win. This is why alien invaders keep failing. Not because we have the best weapons, but because we have the strongest will." Tavrik stared at the soldiers again. They were bruised, dirty, tired, but they were smiling like champions. He whispered, "No wonder every invasion attempt fails." Harris chuckled, "Now you're getting it." Suddenly, alarms blared from the command tower. Red lights flashed across the field. Tavrix jumped. "What is happening?" Harris didn't panic. He didn't even flinch. He simply cracked his knuckles. Time for a surprise drill. Soldiers rushed into formation instantly, fast, sharp, disciplined. Tavrix's heartbeat raced. Harris looked at him with a grin. "Don't worry, you're safe. But now you'll see why human warriors are feared in the galaxy." And for the first time since arriving on Earth, Tavrix felt a chill crawl down his spine. Humans were switching from training mode to battle mode. And the atmosphere changed instantly, like a fire had been lit across the entire camp. Tavrix whispered, "Their spirit, it transforms." The breakdown he felt earlier deepened. Because now, he was about to witness something even more terrifying. Something he would never be able to explain to his superiors. Something that proved the galaxy was lucky Earth was not looking for a fight.